Chad, how many undead have eyes? How many undead can you see the eyes? Serious question now. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. Viewer game night. We're going to see what the viewers have been cooking up. There's been a lot of you cooking stuff up. There was almost 50 games in there the last time I looked. I'm afraid to look in there now, but we'll see what we've got on deck. Let's get into it. What's good, Chad? How you doing? What's good, Irk? Hope everybody's end of their weekend's treating them well. At the beginning of the week is treating you well if you're living in the future or by the time this goes live. Let's see what we got. All right, hold please. I am going to clean this up ahead of time this time because I was getting kind of confused the last time, like where we were. So it's 17. Let's get those moved over. We'll delete this. Then we got to move this one over. And there we go. All right. So, we are going to lead off with a karst game. There's only a mere 30 games in here. We're not going to do all 30, but people have been slacking this week. I guess don't take that as a challenge. It's fine if you submit games, but like, there were a lot. Doing good. How about you? I'm doing all right. I was getting some other work done today. I got some other videos. I got to shave, chat. I'm getting scruffy again. Like, I don't know. I can't cut it the way I like. There's issues with the way my beard is laying. I don't know. It's bothering me. I feel like I need to go get an actual barber to clean it up, and then I'll try and maintain it. But it is expensive. Like, I think I talked about it before, but like I haven't gone to an actual barber for several months now because I just haven't had a need to. Like, if there was an event that I needed to go to, like a wedding or something, I would go to get it done right rather than me screwing it up, quite obviously. But it was like $100, and it's like, come on. It's not, I don't want this to sound like, oh, well, I'm disrespecting the profession or something. Like, that's not what I mean. It's just, that's goddamn expensive. It's expensive, and I don't want to spend that money if I don't have to. Like, that's a lot of money. I got to shave, but I don't want to because I want to let it grow. Don't have a full beard yet, but it's starting to connect. Nice. You got to be patient. You got to suffer through the scruffy months or weeks, however long it takes you. When I had my long beard, it was about a year's worth of growth. Usually it kind of fills back in after about 2 weeks or so. Like if I really screw something up, I think it doesn't really show as much on stream as it would in person, just because of the way the shadows land kind of thing. But anyway, let's see what we got. Let's pull this up. All right. Before we actually get into everything, of course, I have to let everybody know that I am part of the content affiliate program. That means that the Phobies team does, in fact, give me coffee for producing Phobies content. That includes our weekly tournament series, Monster of the Week. I just created a new poster for that. They provide prizes for it. It's a great entry-level way to learn about tournaments and try and play at a competitive level. Everything's set to level 1. So I created a new poster that I'm going to try and circulate. I don't know if I truly love it, but be on the lookout for that. So we're going to jump in here. Let's see what we got. Karst is always good for highlighting things. All right, let's see. Karst wrote a book here. Karst wrote a novel. Who is this against? Which one is this on 412? All right, so this one. All right, first game of the evening. We got Karst as our hero here on Fornacified. Karst wrote a novel for this one, but potentially with good reason. Akira versus Phantom, small map showdown. I have not yet lost to a Phantom, though I think it still needs adjustments. Reset lock on summoned Phobies. No targeting newly summoned Phobies. I'm curious on the community response to a match like this. I am curious too. So Phantom did show up in this past Monster of the Week, and it lost. I think it only showed up once. But notably also a Tractor showed up, and that lost multiple times. It's it's tough. We're talking small sample sizes when we're looking at Monster of the Week, but I think it is a better judge of things. At the very least, we can get, you know, the high-level Sum of All Fears 3 players that participate in that, or the former event known as Fright Night. We can look at their games and say, oh, well, we know these are Sum of All Fears 3 players. They are set to level 1. How does this work? Now, things like Phantom don't care as much about levels, of course, but it does matter as far as the rest of the cast, like things like Gonzo or other Phobies that are more numbers-based as compared to Phantom, where it's ability-based. Those make a difference. It makes a difference that it's set to level 1, because when it comes to the ladder, it's always going to be a crapshoot of, well, do they actually... Wait, why did Karst not attack this? Did Karst move this twice? The bow? Why not attack this? You're not going to kill it. So, like, you're not going to kill it and get pulled out of position. It only moved once. I know Karst watches these, so Karst will tell us, but, like, I don't understand why you didn't hit the boomer there. So we do see the Phantoms show up. We'll see how dangerous this actually is. Even something like dropping the stabby in could be threatening, but here's the big thing I'm already doubting from Bad Guy's plan. They don't have a terraformer, and that feels required on this map. Like, you can't play this map without a terraformer, I don't think. I mean, obviously you can, but you're probably going to hate yourself. Yeah, it's weird. Either ran out of time or they like that it chews up their Phobie slot. Yeah, but it's not going to kill it. So, like, and if your opponent is then wasting time to go walk it back to the spa, that gives you a tempo advantage. Like, I don't see a reason to not hit it. I don't think Karst really plays Arena. I think Karst only plays Async. I didn't see as we were zoning in. So we do get the Cerberus as the Phantom target of choice. Karst with the Akira. Akira does seem to be like the catch-all answer of, oh, my opponent's doing something dangerous. What am I going to do? I'll just Akira them. But in the meantime, Gravedigger is going on its demolition spree and just slaughtering everything. And we get the Glob. This is also a Karst special. A number of other players do this as well, but Glob Akira is pretty cool. A little cement action, some rubber cement. And honestly, it's a good... Like, right now, the way Karst is set up kind of counters the Phantom, right? Like, yeah, you could Gonzo the Cerberus, Phantom it into play or something, but, like, you have to remove the Glob that turn. If the Glob survives, you're gonna die, right? Like, Karst will ensure that. All right, so we're gonna juice the Gonzo. Karst is seemingly intentionally offering up this Glob. Wait, what? That's it? I don't know about that one. I don't know about that one. That doesn't seem like... That can't possibly be your best play. I mean, at worst... So, I think there might have been an Akira play there. Possibly not, but there might have been an Akira play. But Karst is just playing it more defensively, and now our hero has a 2 panic point advantage. Bad Guy elected to save the boomer instead of letting it die, to thereby free up their slots. Sarcassin now is connected with 2 different Phobies. I thought Akira was going to pull and Glob goes on Cerberus. It might have been because this Cerberus is, I mean, it has 4.4k health. Like... Even though this is doing 1600, there just may not have been enough damage to kill the Cerberus. Like, that had to have been the issue. I mean, the Glob would certainly die on the follow-up turn regardless. The question is, do you remove the Cerberus? Because if you can trade Glob for Cerberus, I think you do that in this scenario. But Karst playing it more defensively. Now Gonzo's going to be live again. Bad Guy is... Because they never bothered to break these obstacles, like, you got to shuffle everything around. Actually getting a muffin here. We get the cheaper Cerberus. I really thought there was going to be a heebie-jeebie special here for a second. Karst was going to block off the top, which would have actually been very funny. Double 1/1 Phobies. Yeah. Okay, so wait. Could bad guy... Wait, if you go... Wait, where? Oh, I was trying to figure out where the Phantom was, and I think it could have... No, I don't think it would have been in range. I thought the Phantom for a second could have moved in and then dropped the Cerberus on either Akira or Glob. But either way, I think bad guy's already lost this game. Like, bad guy lost this game... I don't want to say when the Akira came down, but definitely when the Glob came down. Because bad guy has invested so many keys in Phobies that can't really beat Karst's comp. And you need your opponent to make an error in that case. And probably a rather egregious one. And it's very simple. Like, okay, now bad guy still... Actually, they still don't have an opportunity to Phantom something. Like, there's just no opening here. Now, they could do it now. 1400, but then they're going to lose... Like, everything's going to die. If they go in with Phantom, port the Cerberus either to Glob or wherever. It doesn't matter. It's... Like, you got to kill the Hydra, right? Alright, they're going for Glob. I mean, it doesn't matter. It's dead now. This is almost 3,000 damage by itself, and you got 2 other Phobies. Admittedly, bad guy will be able to supplement. They still have 5 keys, but, like... I don't know. Seems not great. Seems not great. DT, what's good? Now, our hero had to invest a lot of effort into killing it, but, like... Come on. That seems like a worthwhile trade. I don't know about the Spud. Oh, man. You know what's going to happen? The caffeine that I had earlier today is going to hit me right as I'm going to bed. Challenge play. Oh, baby. Yeah, bad guy's going to get picked apart here. Not like there's an alternative option, but, lol. This is going to kill the AWOL, too. This is actually probably the coolest play of the game, was this. The Gravedigger breaking the block to allow the Akira to get the snipe here. By the way, Hydra up on your heart. Probably not a position you want to be in if you are bad guy. Wow. Excuse me. This kind of... And I don't mind Fornacified as much as other people do, but I think the larger issue here, as we're looking at the final turn, is more the way this map plays out. Like, here's a serious question for people. Would it not make more sense that Phantom Cerberus should have won this game than the other player, Karst, our hero, being able to bank to Akira and set up Glob? One's 11 keys, one's 13 keys. And maybe it is just, it's play and then counterplay, and then because because it's a small map, as soon as you make that sort of compositional mistake, the game effectively ends. Because there's not enough time or not enough resources to actually, okay, well, I'll counter your counter. A large map allows for that. That's actually something I haven't considered up to this point. Arrive a few minutes late, completely missed the one game. Actually look forward to seeing. Oh, it'll be on the replay. I mean, you can go to videos right now and watch it. There wasn't really much to speak of, to be honest, ET. Like, this felt like, what I'm summing up now I think, is the entire replay, which is like, this seems like a compositional counter. It never, to me, and maybe I could be wrong here, I'm open to being wrong, it didn't seem like bad guy was in this game at all. And I think it came down to not having a Gravedigger. If they had a Gravedigger at some point, maybe, like, I don't think they needed Gonzo, which sounds crazy. But, like, the Gonzo seemed unnecessary, and those 4 keys could have been put to better use. If they had a Gravedigger to open up pathways for the Phantom to sneak in and then drop the Cerberus onto Karst, maybe the game would have been wildly different. As to Karst's suggestions about, like, what needs to be changed for Phantom, like, I can't really disagree with any of them. The only way I would disagree, and this is very much playing like devil's advocate, but I think the devs really do want... Yeah, literally 0 Phantom. Well, the Phantom was intended to be a loss here. Like, Karst didn't use Phantom. I think that the devs intend it to be able to do these things. Just like I think Cupcake was kind of intended to do the jump scare play. That proved to be unhealthy and the devs stepped in. Maybe they'll do the same with Phantom, but I'm not sure how... Like, I do wonder, for example, and this is a larger thing, a larger discussion that we beat to death on many occasions. I would not be surprised to learn that Phantom probably has like a 30% win rate, like only wins 3 out of 10 games that it's involved in. Discounting, of course, the ones that push it towards 50-50 where it's a mirror. That would not surprise me at all. However, Phantom, how it impacts the game as far as, like, what does it make people feel when you're playing is similar to Now, Cupcake probably was, like, more readily identifiable as a problem. I think Cupcake comes out and the game ends like a turn later or something. I could definitely see that bearing out statistically. Now, again, I'm making all this stuff up. Believe me, they don't share this stuff with the content affiliates. Trust me. But I'm curious if, like, does Phantom... Like, does it just suck to play against because the play pattern's introduced? And that's why it needs to get changed. Because of the potential. There's certainly people who are going to be using it to explosive degrees and very powerful plays being made. But I do wonder, like I said, I could definitely see people just, like this last game. It's like, oh, well, I'll just Phantom and Cerberus and phone it in. It's like, no, you got bodied. And I think a lot of people are going to have that happen to them. And I don't know if... I don't know. There's arguments that are quantitative and there's arguments that are qualitative. And I think Phantom is a qualitative one rather than quantitative because I don't know that Phantom really is... It does not strike me as a phobia that's going to have a very high win rate, despite it being incredibly powerful. That's the short version. All right, chat. I expected to see a cool play, but Phantom still lost. Yeah. I mean, like I said, Karst submitted it intentionally with the purpose of showcasing, you know, there's a way to lose with it, but... like I said, I don't think that... It would not surprise me in the least that Phantom has a very low win rate. It just strikes me as one of those phobies. All right, moving on from Karst game, we got a dontinklesnif game. Is that Shove Shark as the avatar? Is there a Shove Shark avatar? Or is that, Finnegan? Was there a Finnegan avatar? I don't remember. But either way, the notes here are, don't ask me how this worked, it just kind of did. Got a little coulrophobia action. Let's see what happened. That's Finnegan? Okay. I don't remember there being a Finnegan avatar, to be honest. Maybe we just don't see it very often. Yeah, Shove Shark is much grayer. Red eyes and blue skin. I don't trust the eye color and stuff sometimes. It's always been there. Fair. Yo, the heebie-jeebies Special! I don't always trust, like, the way the art and stuff, like, the relationship between those, because sometimes, like, things are just weird. So bad guy electing to not get bow onto the stem right away. Instead, capping the point, getting the bow here. Our hero doesn't really have a great setup to answer. They do have 6 keys, so there are things that they can drop out here. One of those things happens to be Cerberus. I don't know that that is exactly how I would respond to this current crisis. I mean, everybody loves when the good boys show up, but is now the time? Chad, how many undead have eyes? How many undead can you see the eyes? Serious question now. Gravedigger? Cerberus. There are phobies. You can see the eyes on Bow. You can see the eyes on Shove Shark. If you want to count the holes, you can count it on Jar. How many undead can you see the eyes on? Because I think it's pretty close to 0. I think it's pretty close to 0. Alright, Tooth Fairy here. Is this really the answer? Dude, how are you doing so much damage to this bow? I think I know why. Zomboni has eyes. Zomboni does have eyes. Murderwing. Smiley. Alright. I want somebody to count this up now. Run the numbers. Which type of phobie has the most visible eyes? Like, most eyes are visible. And don't give me Blinky or something like that. That doesn't count. Like, Blinky counts as visible eyes, but not because it has 7,000 eyes that are visible. And even Muffin has an eye, which is arguably the most unsettling one to have an eye. Dude, why is this Cerberus thing working? You're gonna just jar this, right? Yeah. This is why it worked, because you were able to snipe that bow mangles. If they come and wait, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, they can hit the jar. If they hit the jar, that's game. Or if not literally. I don't think Leela's getting you out of this guy. That's not doing it. 15 undeads have eyes or eye sockets. You know what's funny is Ted is not one of them. I'm pretty sure his hat covers his eyes. Which is funny. See, now the people need to know. What is it? Wait, it's 15 of how many? How many undead are there? These are the important Phobies facts. Alright, Shove Shark goes down. I respect it. That Gravedigger fight is going to take way too long to resolve. That's a kaboom. Ted isn't one, Jill does. Yeah, that I remembered. That I could picture the art in my head. You know what's funny is, like, if somebody says, tell me an undead, I would name, like, 1 or 2 and then be like, I'd struggle to think of other ones. But, what are you doing here? Oh. Okay. Triple panic point advantage. Bad guys making a game of it. Who are we targeting with this kaboom here? Alright, so we snipe the jar, reclaim the panic point. 1,360 damage from Cerberus. That's evening things out pretty quick. Snowball action. Boom! Alright, panic point advantage, hero. 3 keys to 3 keys remaining. Yeah, I'm not going to lie, Don Tinkle. This doesn't make any sense. How does this work? 38? It's a little less than half. Look, sometimes a good boy just got to go down there and punch the crap out of some hearts. Could you not have just killed them? It might have been close, I guess. I'm not actually going to count it, but I feel like maybe if you just went heart twice with that, you would have just killed them. GG. Dontinklesnif. You heard it here first. Forget walk the turd on coulrophobia. Let's walk the dog. All day, every day. Yeah, this Finnegan avatar just reminds me of Street Sharks. I got that as a gift. I think my wife gave it to me. She gave me the DVDs for the show Street Sharks, which, like, I didn't mind it when I was a kid, but it wasn't, don't tell her that. Like, not like my favorite show, but it is from that era of, like, everybody's trying to be Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I think my favorite one that was, like, Turtles knockoff was T-Rex. Out of 178 Phobies, there's only 38 undead. That's kind of low. It's a little on the low side, I guess. But not, like, dramatically. The way the updates break down is we commonly get... Like, the Halloween update is apparently the undead update. Or at least the last one was. I wonder if it is just a function of, like, they're trying to theme the updates and we get less undead ones, so therefore we get less undead. I see why they had a dedicated update mainly for new undeads. Exactly, yeah. I wonder what a new phobia would be if... I wonder what a new phobia type would be if Smoking Gun were ever add a new one. I don't think they ever will. It would have to be something really unique. Because, like, monster is the catch-all category. Dimensional is, like, the, like, impossible to exist kind of things, like the Eldritch Monstrosity level stuff. Mechs are mechs, and then undead are obviously a very defined theme, although it could be any kind of undead. And to their credit, they haven't... I mean, we do have blood-sucking phobies, but we don't have, like, a literal vampire phobie or something like that. We do have zombie phobies, but at least they have a... You know, Jill and Ted have a theme. You know what I mean? So it's not like they're taking the low-hanging fruit. All right, our hero here is Cotter on Xylo. My condolences. Felt overwhelmed by a higher-level opponent. I'll be honest, I didn't notice whether our hero won this game or not as we zoned in. I usually don't notice, I just look for the names. Funny enough, I think mechs have the most eyes if we count every eye the other races have together as a group. So you're saying, like, Innocuous and Attractor push the number up over the Blinkies? Because of Sentinels and Hydras? That's only 5 phobies, though. And there are a number of phobies that don't have eyes. So I wonder... I'm not sure how that breaks down. Evo 2.0 has 3 technically. All the Hevos... Well, no. Hevo 1.0 I think has only the 1 dot. I think Hevo 2.0 also has the 3 dots. We'd have to define the rules for counting this up. Because there's a lot of edge cases. So, getting back to the game, as mentioned, I'm not a huge fan of this map. I will never include this in a map pool if I don't have to. This map sucks. This is the proto The Once lore. And we've had some absolutely hilarious moments on this map, but I do feel that this map is somewhat unsalvageable. In the absence of new phobies that dramatically change the metagame for this map, I just don't see how this map is enjoyable. Because you get into these scenarios where it's just boops and yoinks, which admittedly does give an underlevel player, which we can pause and take a peek here, How under leveled are we talking? This is level 10. This is level infinite because I can't click on it. 17, 17, 18, 13, 11. Like, yeah, this is a pretty significant level gap. AoE boopers being able to target the heart on this map is criminal. So here's the thing about those sort of plays. They are awesome for the first few times that it happens, but then it just becomes so incredibly tedious. But I do think this is one of those things that, like, that's how this map was always intended to be played. Because remember, the devs have been testing and playing this game before all the updates. They would have had the Akiras and all of those stress phobies involved. So I doubt they had no idea what was going on this map. You know what I mean? Like, it's not a meme, but it is true that a lot of devs, and I'm not saying this about the Phobies devs, this is general game devs, are not really, they're not always very good at their own game. It's not like you get former pros to to design the game in a lot of cases. A lot of the time it's players are good at playing and developers are good at developing. And there's not necessarily a lot of crossover. The point is that, yeah, it's possible the devs completely missed the play patterns that we're seeing. But I'd like to believe that they didn't, and in most cases we're looking at this is absolutely intended. And it's okay not to like it. But speaking of AoE boops, we get my go-to play in Hevo 2.0 showing up. Is bad guy going to offer something up here? I don't think so. We do have some 1 keys to trade back and forth. Slight hard health advantage to our hero. So here's a question for you, chat, and if Karst made it this far, I'm sure Karst will have a comment on this. It's generally accepted that in stalemate-ish maps, that player 2 has an advantage, because player 2 will be able to exchange 1 keys back and forth and ultimately come out ahead, because they start out with an extra key. Okay, that makes sense. Is there any validity to the idea that player 1 has an advantage because they can claim the panic point first and then therefore push that little bit of extra damage? It's only going to be 1 turn, so there really isn't. But while I generally like the idea of symmetrical maps, I really kind of want to see Phobies with asymmetrical maps. This is how bad the level differential is. You need those 3 hits in order to remove the 1 key. Ugh. Scritch, huh? Okay. It's a bold move there, Cotton. This is also, if Karst makes it this far, Karst will also respond to this, but this is another example of where I don't think Attractor slowed down this game. I don't think Repeller slowed down this game. I think this game would have been incredibly slow regardless because of the way the map functions. Obviously, the Sentinels impact the gameplay speed, and they impact the way the game plays in general. However, I'm always trying to determine, like, at what stage is this or that responsible for the game state we're in. Your Hevo's just dead, isn't it? Oh, wait. This wasn't live. It wasn't ready yet. I was about to say, like, the Hevo just gets yoinked into the pit, but here's a good example of Akira, the Akira nerf mattering a significant amount. That is a juiced high five. That is a lot of damage. 1,807 damage to be exact, just clobbering the heart. Notably, bad guy does not have a boop. They only have yoinks. No push to try and get rid of this Evo. Or high five, rather. Alright, so yoink. Alright, so we do have the push. That'll get rid of the high five here. Ooh, the snipe. Good play, bad guy. I mean, I know we're not cheering for them, but that was a cool play. That was a cool play. But bad guy's heart. What are we at? I can't... Game. There we go. 2,649 health. Yeah, that's not a very healthy heart. Scritch bringing the noise, bringing the violence. Boop. Bad guy a little too passive here. A little too passive here. Nice. Well done. Yeah, this is another debate of how should the scaling work? Should things scale to more health, like heart health? And there is an argument to keep the heart health low for this sort of scenario. I don't know whether it is going to go in favor of the higher level player more often, because they could just rush the heart. But I wonder how many high level players just rely on the levels and then it gives the under level player an opportunity to make something happen. I don't know. I don't know. Dino Nuggy Moai. Let's just say this game got pretty cold. So you're telling me there's a boss and a puff. I'm never sure if people are just being, like, entirely sarcastic or not, so we'll find out momentarily. I'm ready to open the seasonal, hope it's good. I don't even think I qualified for a seasonal pack. I've missed several seasons at this point. I just haven't played enough games. I would like to play more Phobies offline, specifically. Like off-stream, I mean. Ooh, taking the aggressive... Wait, why did bad guy bank to 9? What is happening? I just remember that Boo Fairy technically does have eyes. True. He's got Woolly Bully? Congrats. Woolly Bully's not bad. Kind of niche, but not bad. Wait, what? Okay, this is a different take on the Heart Rush plan. He was one on my list. Woolly Bully's a fun phobia. It's a fun phobia, and I think it is underutilized. We have seen a few cool plays at in tournaments with it. Got the boop. Got the walk. I'm not sure if the spider is really the answer you want, to be honest. Our hero doesn't seem like they're really set up to contend this right now. You do have the yoink, so the displacement could cause some issues, and then you get the poison, but Cerberus should be able to just kill the spider and then go back to work on the heart. Poison might get there enough that, like, something else can claim it. Wait, we're going after the spider? Or the Maggie, rather? Okay. Ooh, the body block here. This is actually kind of cool because even though Cerberus obviously pulverizes this, it does prevent Cerberus from walking up and punching the heart. This will allow Moffat to get a poison off and walk away if you want. The bad guy is on this aggression plan. Cerberus drooling everywhere. The back cap there. So what kind of poison are we looking at? 532. Like that's a lot of poison. And that's also a Yeti. As far as answers go to Cerberus, that's not a terrible one. Especially since it's poisoned. So you are going to be able to punch this thing down. You are going to be able to take this down. I don't know about alligator. That one seems questionable. Bad guy also notably did not... Well, there was no way to stop this. I was going to say, like, they could body block, but then you're just going to kill it with the Kerbloom, or I think Yoink is back up. Yeah, so, like, stopping the freeze was not going to happen. 1,000 damage. It also displaces said Kerbloom. Wait, why are we pulling it back? I don't think that was necessary. I think this thing was dead no matter what. You might have been better off pulling the Shove Shark into the way. Although, I guess pulling this back prevents the Gator. Okay, so this might be a really good play, because if you pull this back, that means the Gator can't walk into this space. If you pull the Shove Shark can walk out of the way, get one hit, and then the Gator walks in, and now you have a Gator on your heart, too. This actually boxes out the other melees, which, for some reason, our bad guy just keeps going for. I don't understand. Alright, we got the takedown here. Takedown here. I don't know about a Henrietta, but I guess it's fine. You just need something to go on there. The panic point advantage is in favor of our hero. We do get the boop, lets the Gator in. It does recap the panic point, which is kind of funny. 4068, 2602. I don't understand bad guy's phobie choice at all, but I mean, it's a heart rush plan. Whatever. Doesn't matter. I mean, it does matter. If bad guy had more, like, imagine if the fetch was a lob or just a range phobia, or even the Gator. I don't think there was any way that they could have saved the Cerberus without having to retreat it, which then would have given our hero time to build their defenses, but... Also, this Hevo has been just parked down here the entire game. I don't know what this Hevo is doing. It's guarding the Murder Wing, but, like... The only stress undead is foul. What can I say? Smoking Gun doesn't want to make undeads, I guess. I don't know. Is the Quagmire's body blocking the heart? I don't understand. I want to see how low our hero's heart health is at the end of this game, because it absolutely feels like if bad guy was just kind of like split between multiple objectives and couldn't decide what they wanted to do. Oh, the jar. I was about to say, you're still dead. Yeah, I don't know that there was anything bad guy could have sent for these 5 keys that they spent on Quagmire that would have actually allowed them to close this game out. But the fact that this Hevo sat down here like the entire game, tying up that number of keys, it just feels like that there had to have been a better plan. Well played, Dino. Defending the classic Shove Shark Cerberus push on Moai. Maybe Squiggles. It was like 1,200 health left, I think. Yeah, 1,271. It's possible, like, Squiggles, Squiggles Snowball gets there. The problem is that Squiggles would have been on this outside. Like, it would have been behind where Quagmire is right now, and this push forward from Dino Nuggy would have body blocked it out. Like, I don't think there was any way to get there. I think the biggest issue was just, like, why Alligator? Why Fetch? Now, the Fetch came in handy to display something so that way you could actually get onto the heart. But if you had range Phobies out there to begin with, I think you would have been able to close the game that way. You know, like, you would have continued to apply pressure and threaten things without having to constantly reposition the Phobies. Obviously, wait for longer for them to get into position, that sort of thing. And that should be the end of Hevo. Maybe not, actually. Oh, there we go. For a second, I thought Dino was going to, like, put a bunch of damage and then go back to hitting the heart or something. GG. Huh. I mean, these are highlights. I don't know. I still have had the same Megalo experience of it's just too heart pushy. Part of that's going to be due to scaling, but that has always been true, I feel like. Like, pre-Sum of All Fears, it felt like it was still heart pushy. But there's other factors in play. It's a very complicated calculation to do to determine how much of this is levels, how much of this is Phobie collection, how much of this is actually player skill versus an experience, that sort of thing. I almost don't want to say it, chat, but we've been doing good with people actually favoriting their games. So shout out to people submitting games. We got renamon here. Ah, yes. The classic lull. I don't know if that's supposed to be classic lull or the classic, comma, lull. You got Murder Wing from your gold pack. I mean, leveling up Murder Wing is good. But that's a much larger discussion about the seasonal packs. Why? Why do you, chat, why do you do these things to me? I feel like people, I don't know if this is why the comment came in, but, like, do people, like, go out of their way to play games to, like, find the weirdest possible thing to happen so they can submit it? Which is fine, because it's funny, but, like, sock assin into heebie-jeebies, into Boo Fairy? I'm not gonna lie, that was not on my bingo card. Why is this happening? Why is this happening? I'm often torn between, this is actually really funny, like, you're doing something super weird, this is hilarious, and this is so weird it's exhausting. Like, sometimes I watch some of these games, and it's just like, what are you thinking? Also, like, here, why not send the sock ass into the top and then send a 1 key to claim the bottom? They banked to 6 instead, so they clearly have something in mind. What? Okay, we were joking about the heebie-jeebies special, but, like, what is going on in this game? Chat, when was the last time you saw Stairmaster hit the board? And don't say the last game. Don't say the last game. When was the last time you saw Stairmaster hit the board? Also, both of these Stairmasters are doubting. This is absolutely a press X to doubt moment. Like, really? 2 of us? That doesn't happen. Like, I don't mind Stairmaster. Like, I think it serves a purpose. It isn't necessarily, that purpose isn't necessarily playability, but, like, it has a purpose. A tractor. All right. That's something we're more accustomed to seeing. That's over 600 damage from that Stairmaster. Kaboom, baby. I get the sense that bad guy is in... maybe on turn 12 it isn't... Well, their turn 6. It isn't immediately regretting. But I sense through the internet some level, some degree of regret for putting this Boo Fairy on the board. There's some degree of regret here. And if there isn't, there should be. How do you think Boo Fairy's arms get tired? Are there any other phobies that hold their appendages above their head like that forever? It's got to be tiring, right? Like, it seems silly. Like, oh, I'm just going to hold my arms up. Like, hold your arms up literally forever. How about that? Unless the implication is that, like, the musculature and bone structure of Boo Fairy does not allow it to put its arms any lower, in which case, is the safest position to defend yourself from Boo Fairy simply laying on the ground? Because it can't put its arms down to grab you? Instead of the monster under your bed, you're literally hiding under your bed from the monster? I mean, it can lean forward to some degree. That's what it does when it attacks, which, with the way this game is going, we're never going to see. Yeah, that Boo Fairy is just going to die. Really? I don't know if bad guy threw in the towel here or what. I also am unclear as to why Leela happened. I feel like renamon is like, nah, I'm just using Leela because I want to. And that Doom Doom is tanky. Doom Doom didn't die. I don't think it matters, but, like, that's kind of weird. Huh. I guess. I don't know that this advance... Like, the advance seems kind of weird from bad guy, because you're just exposing the Stairmaster. But I don't think it matters. I don't think any of this matters. Womp. Henrietta for the casual body block. And that would be the ball game, folks. Yeah, this one I get the classic lull. Like, do we assume that that was for a quest? That had to be for a quest, right? Like, there's literally no other reason to use Boo Fairy, right? There was somebody who, I don't remember if they would come to the stream or if it was, they were in the YouTube comments talking about how, oh, well, Boo Fairy's not that bad. And I don't know how to break it to him. But Boo Fairy is that bad. Like, that is not a good phobie. It is not a good phobie. And I do wonder if Boo Fairy could be solved with stats. Like, if you just made it sturdier, would it be oppressive or would it just merely be acceptable because it's still a melee phobie with a melee ability? So even if you go in, you're probably getting cooked anyway, right? I don't know. That's, yeah. Like I said, of all the plays you can make, that is one of them. All right, we got, I think tindmrap is, this is one of the, they've submitted a game or two before, I think, but not many. I do feel bad because I think they submitted this one several weeks ago. Yeah, this was 2 weeks to the day. I think they came into stream and are like, hey, can you review the game? And I'm like, go put it on the spreadsheet. And We're getting to it now. So at least we got to it before a patch broke it or something. Like I said, there are 30 games in the queue right now. There's a lot. There's a lot. What if Boo Fairy had a damage down on death like blue? That'd be interesting. So tindmrap's notes here are just cooking. All right, we'll see what happens. As far as Boo Fairy, like, I don't want to see Phobies reworked unless it's absolutely necessary. I'd rather them introduce a new phobie. Even if the Phobies niche is bad. Like, I am of the opinion, leave bad sushi alone. Don't rework it. They are going to, so, you know, I'll just accept what it is. It's fine. The reason being is I like having these phobies and being like, okay, well, this is the niche. That niche is bad, and I think it's a good way to help. It's like a teachable moment for newer players of they show up in Discord or they show up on stream or they show up wherever, and it's like, well, how come nobody uses this? And we're like, well, it's bad, and it's similar to this other thing, and that's why this other new phobie we're discussing is good, bad, or indifferent. Is that a good enough reason to leave it alone? Maybe, maybe not. But the larger issue is you can't leave it alone with the current state of the Phobies economy. The current Phobies economy sucks. There's no two ways about it. And it isn't really justifiable to have bad to unplayable Phobies existing because it is so uncommon to get new Phobies, to get appropriate leveling cards, etc. While that is still a problem, I think it is unacceptable to have Phobies that are bad. Like, just like actually bad. A little Speedola action. I don't know. I feel like the red Speedola could have had a little more intricacy put onto the belt, which is clearly supposed to be like... I mean, it's supposed to be a lifting belt because they're from the Carnival expansions. They're supposed to be like strongmen at a carnival. But I kind of picture them as like a tag team wrestling duo. So I kind of want a championship belt for Red Speedola. Oh, we got Mildred. That is not something I expected to see on Rush Hour. Alright, so here's the new game, chat. Every time we get a game on one of these maps, the question becomes, would this game have been faster or longer, or the same, I guess, those are the three options, if a tractor was involved? We're going to have to see how this one plays out. My guess is it's probably going to have been about the same. It would have felt longer, but the game itself probably would have ended around the same time. What if Boo Fairy's ability was an AoE around itself? I mean, it would obviously be better, right? Like, it's another Hydra or Blondie then. I don't know if I quite get the Rambo Mildred synergy here. As we've learned from many of Big She's games, we haven't gotten a replay from in a while. Smiley isn't necessarily an answer to this. However, our hero here doesn't have a great way to reclaim a panic point right now. So they're down panic points. And I've been getting eaten alive by mosquitoes, so every time, like, anything, it feels like there's always mosquitoes on me. They've been sneaking in the house. Like, I found one earlier today, and it kind of explains why I have 10,000 mosquito bites. It's getting me while I sleep. Truthfully, I don't know if this Smiley's going to do a damn thing, because can't the Speedolas just pummel it? Boop. This is a sick play. Alright, hold on. We gotta rewatch this. Oh, they didn't even shove shark it. Alright, so we get the Rambolina coming across the top. Dropping the boom onto bad guy's team. Mildred hit. Catastrophic. Get it? We do get the boop here. Nice. We get the takedown on the erratic. That was a solid play. Solid play. Still 11 keys for bad guy, but as mentioned earlier, like the Mildred is, the Mildred will get another hit and it deals so much damage that it'll heal through this poison unless, what level is this? 13. I think this will be fine. By the way, I really think this ability should have been named Catastrophe. My bad, bro. I'll call off my pet mosquitoes. First of all, why do you have pet mosquitoes? Second of all, why did you send them after me? But yeah, this is kitty littering, which I get. Like, that's cute. I think catastrophe or catastrophic would have been way funnier. Yeah, so somebody was asking recently, how do you deal with Mildred? And the answer really is Firkin, I think. I don't think Smiley is a really great answer. You need yoinks. You need to be able to dive. And this is another one where, like, what if big tanky dummies are the answer? And Mildred, this is in no way as... How do I phrase this? Mildred is in no way as pointed an example as we see with many other phobies of this, but clearly there are like standard phobies that you put on the board, right? That's why it's so exciting when we see the random speedolas or things like that showing up, because they're not as common. Because many phobies are just simply more niche than others. Like, that's just axiomatic. That's the way the game functions. And you could debate whether that's good, bad, or otherwise, but that doesn't change the fact that it is or isn't. And in this case, it is. Mildred and a number of other phobies, I do wonder if they are too, like, second Mildred hit. This is wild. Boom. By the way, Mildred basically at full health again. The point I was trying to make is, for things like Mildred, A, they require somewhat unique answers, such as the Firkins, as mentioned. But I do wonder, are there too many phobies, or are there any, in your opinion? Chat or YouTube. Are there too many phobies, or are there any that are checkmate-y? Like, obviously, you can misplay or whatever, but, like, it's basically checkmate when they hit the board because you don't have time to react to them. Like we were saying in the Karst example, Phantom hit the board, Karst answered with Glob Akira, and then it was kind of checkmate from there. Now, that's a 2 phobie combo to counter a 2 phobie combo. But it feels like, and I've said this for a long time, that there are a number of phobies that are kind of like, oh, that hit the board? How many keys do I have left? And then you can just immediately decide whether you can win that game or not. There are opportunities where your opponent could make a mistake, and then you could set up with a displacement effect or some other powerful phobie that you can overcome a disadvantageous position. But there are several of them, and I think Mildred kind of fits in that category of, if this thing comes down and you aren't prepared or you don't have keys to respond to it, the game just ends on the spot, which kind of feels unsatisfying, especially if it's on a small map where it's, I'm burning keys, you're burning keys, we're going back and forth, we're whittling things down, and then the game ends, essentially. Which does happen with, like, Attractor and other phobies. I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I'm making a bigger deal out of it than it is. Sometimes it feels like that really is a problem. But what do you guys think? I remember when Mildred wasn't even talked about in the meta. It still isn't. Mildred only came up right now because it was in that game. I think Mildred is underutilized. At this point, we've seen demonstrations of its power from Big She for months. way back. But it's not a standard phobie. And maybe it's in that category of like, yeah, if it comes down, it takes over a game, but they have to not have the ability to counter it. If they can counter it, you lose. It's possible. There's no way this game is on your profile. Nope. Ah, you didn't favorite the game! What are you going to do? I will say there's somebody on YouTube that gets upset every time I do the tilt thing. Every time that I do the tilt thing, they comment now on the last few videos. But the real answer is people need to favorite their games, and then we won't have this problem. You got to go to the root of the issue. So we'll skip a karst game here, because we did one earlier. All right, our hero here is Rosaldo on Teen Spirit. Even after the nerf, Chauvel Cerberus is still a great play. Oh, we did... All right, people are just trolling with these jackalopes now. Mr. Fish Tank. Why you got a jackalope? What is happening right now? Mildred has definitely been gaining respect over time due to its sheer range and HP plus HP seal. I think it's way much stronger now thanks to Phantom. Oh, yeah. Phantom has breathed life into many things that probably were considered unplayable before. And understandably so. Is Mildred, like, I don't know. There's probably, like, 8 things ahead of Mildred before you consider Mildred's an issue. Now, that's part of the strat here. So, P, what do you mean trolling? What, the jackalopes? Yeah. Apparently, I'm out of the loop. I don't watch or play enough Phobies to understand these next-gen strats. The numbskull also begs many questions. What is bad guy doing here? Like, I'm not... What is happening right now? Ignoring the jackalope, like... Just a casual 3-cap for no reason. Sure. Okay, I see the strategy now. My eyes have been opened. I have now witnessed the glory of the I'm going to let you kick the snot out of me so I can get ogre strategy. Chat, that's a turn 4 ogre activation. You heard it here first. The code has been cracked. Oh, this is all at level 1, too. Yo, look at Assassin Henrietta here, though. That's actually pretty sick. I think I'm going to use this for the thumbnail. I think I'm going to use this for the thumbnail. I'm going to make a note here. Like that feels like a ninja strike. Like they're leaping off of a building. Ogre main's doing every stupid play possible to make Ogre buff happen. Does Ogre really need a buff? I mean, okay, so the buff I would want Ogre to have is that it scales. So it's not requiring the same amount of HP. Wait. This says 4... This was changed, wasn't it? This says 4,000. The back says 3,000. One of these things is not like the other. I mean, but that's what I'm saying. I knew you meant buff the ability. Do we really want it to be buffed? Does it need to be buffed? I mean, I kind of like the idea for the ability's fine, I guess. This is so weird. Just inching up the Cerberus. Ogre sniping things. Droney? You can't droney. So that... I guess that was just damage to put... It doesn't matter. They're undead. They're going to leech it. Especially the Cerberus. So, like, this kills here. With the jar, you push. Then this can slap the Shove Shark, maybe? This is a weird game. Not the weirdest we've seen, but kind of strange. So here's the thing about Ogre and that sort of mechanic is I imagine there's a lot of people that are like, wouldn't it be cool if you had a comeback phobie that, oh, you're about to die, so then it enrages like Ogre and either does more damage, gets more powers, does whatever. And I'm sure we'll get more of these over time. Because then, oh, wouldn't it be such a cool strategy if you intentionally let your opponent do something and then you drop this and turn the game around? I think that game plan is going to be intensely frustrating to play against, to the point where it will be miserable. B, I don't think that game plan is going to work out generally that way. What I think is going to happen is, like, games are going to... Why was that such a weird spawn? Did the Rocket Man deployment get updated? I don't remember it doing that before. I don't know. It's one of those mechanics that I've seen tried in many games. Admittedly, not games like Phobies, but like in a ton of games. And what ends up happening is it never really works out the way it's intended. And as a result, you either still end up with a useless mechanic because you either have to risk so much that it doesn't matter, or you get put in a position where the appropriate play is to, like, not interact. Like, let your opponent do whatever and then overcome what they have. Rocket Man always had a weird cool spawn. It was always like that. Fair enough. By the way, I didn't notice that we got double germs here. Which is, somebody posted in the main Phobies Discord. They're like, wait, what? Why did that happen? Alright, should this be the thumbnail instead? Like, that looks pretty dope. That seems pretty dope. Yeti has the coolest spawn animation. It's pretty cool. I always think start by losing would be a bad plan for winning. It generally is. It generally is. This is pretty sick. There was another point I was going to make, and then I got distracted by, like, why did Rocket Man freeze this? Because Rocket Man could have walked up and froze Cerberus, I think. Which is, like, that's got to be better. Oh, yeah. So the germs. Alright, bad guy's making a game of this. Somebody had suggested on the main Phobies Discord, like, what if we had a virus phobie? And my first thought was, we already have 2 of them. Do we really need a third? And I mean, I'm sure they'll make another one, but it was just kind of funny. What they meant was, like, a computer virus. 1 tile, 2... Well, wait, wasn't the Rocket Man here? I thought it was on the panic point, and then it could have just walked up and froze Cerberus. Was it back one? Because if it was back one, that's fine. I thought it was on the panic point. Down goes Cerberus. But, none of these other phobies are much longer for the world. I was thinking that they could have just bit the thing, but too much health. Microscopic not going down without a fight, but it does in fact go down. GG. That was a weird one. That was a weird one. Not quite as weird as opening Boo Fairy, but a little weird. A little weird. Season ended. Let's play more games in this season. Yeah, whatever. The game didn't crash. I wonder if that's because I didn't get a pack. I wonder if that's because I didn't get a seasonal pack. Tenzia. Come on. Oh! Favorite your games. So, the notes were this for how to counter Phantom and tanks. Just go level 3 Metabot. It's that shrimple. But we will never see what the result was. We'll go to the next one, which also looks like it's... Yeah, Tenzia submitted 2 games and then didn't favorite him. Womp womp. Karst got Hoovy? I'm very curious if Karst will actually end up using it. Probably not until... I will say... late September, early October is when Karst will start playing Hoovy. So our hero here submitted this game, but I kind of want to watch this one because there's a Boggart MVP. You know, despite the buffs, Boggart and Leela and stuff haven't really shown up that much, which I'm not complaining about, to be honest, but I was very concerned about those movement changes. All right, Endless Pain is our hero here on Ergo. I can understand the endless pain on Ergo. Definitely true. Endangered Species Poached Conductor. That feels like you just said random words. Like, I don't get it. It's the baby! Hi, Harley. Where's a good girl? Come here. She hasn't come down here in a while. She's been laying in other beds. Like, my wife put a dog bed in the office, so I think she was hanging out in there a lot of the time. So, yeah, we're getting, I was going to say somewhat standard openers, but, like, our hero has something that's a little abnormal. Hi, baby. And then bad guy. What is it with microscopics? Like, why are we microscopic-ing? This play would have been way cooler pre Shove Shark nerf, but even then, I don't think it would have made a difference. Like, you end up trading microscopic for the cassowary, probably. Wait, why are... Okay, chat, I will say, not only have I not played, we haven't seen a lot of Ergo games, because this map sucks. So people don't submit it, we don't observe a lot of games on it. Are germs now the meta? Like, what am I missing here? When did this happen? Also, bad guy, you were trying to set this play up yourself. How did you walk into this? Bad guy getting bodied. Is this what happens? Like, I distinctly remember when I was a kid. I think we went on a field trip or something somewhere. And there was this display that I remember explaining how white blood cells and antibodies attack infections and other diseases and things. Is that what this is? Like, the Gesundheit versus the microscopic? I'm trying to remember where I was. Like, I can picture it. And I assume it was from a class trip or something. I think. So long ago, I don't remember. Alright, we get a little Steve's action. This murderway should die. The Venus is interesting. I mean, I get it as an anti-trap tool. Conductor. I really thought our hero was going to be the one using Conductor. So I guess the endangered species part is the Steves? Question mark? So Conductor has flies. There are other sewn together undeads. They don't have flies. What is it about Conductor that makes him especially stinky? Like, notably smelly over the other undeads. Boop. And that is not how you want to spend your keys. Just walking Conductor up into his doom. I got wrecked. But don't they attach themselves onto invaders? Yeah. I'm pretty sure that's how it works, but this is as close as it gets. You sure that's a question you want to ask? I mean, we ask ridiculous questions here all the time. Here's a bigger question. Are those flies baby Maggies? Because clearly Maggie is significantly larger than that. Double Trapper, alright. What is this map like now, chap? Because I distinctly remember this map being like Boss Gonzo heaven for a while. You know, you'd break the obstacles, you'd set up this kill zone, and then you'd Boss Gonzo your opponent. Do you really kill this here? I mean, even if you don't, like, that's an enormous amount of damage. This is a good play by Endless. Bad guy taking the bait, I guess? I mean, at this point, it's just... there's nothing bad guy could do. Oh, by the way, our hero still had 5 keys. I didn't even notice that. Good lord. Giggles. Hitting the icebox. Come on, bad guy. Don't run. Like, what? Where are you running to? Like, what is the point? Unless you have 9 other traps set up, what is your game plan? Maybe they forgot Shove Shark was available, but even if they did, it's like, okay, I stall 1 turn and then die anyway. Like, just end turn. Let it end. GG. Yeah, so the notes make more sense after observing the game, but still confusing. Alright, chat. I'm going to take a quick break. I'll put this game on just because I'm curious what the boggart is. We'll be right back. Watch some more games when I return. Don't go away. So what I missed, was this game even worthwhile? I don't know what the hell's happening here. We got actual viewer games to look at, but like... boggart looks like it's zoning stuff out. Speaking of eyes, boggart has many eyes. Does corn have eyes? Kind of. Do we want to count that as eyes? What about Stabby? Does Stabby count as having eyes? Also, why wouldn't you put that on I don't know. Whatever. All right, hero here is Mango on Always Watching. I don't know. Shove Shark better than Phantom. Officially, the notes say Le Chauvel better than Phantom. But I like calling it Shove Shark. So we'll see what happens here on Always Watching. I have an inkling there will be a Shove Shark, as well as a Phantom. Opponent refused to give up Phobies and preserved Electric Cat for way too long. Also used Beside Myself on a Corn. I mean, I don't mind sniping things with Beside Myself. I think it's important to judge how much time you have in a game with Heartbreaker, because sniping something is fine if the game is going to go long enough. But if you're burning it and you're not getting a huge advantage and it's the only one you're going to get an activation on, then obviously it's a waste of time. So you get a fairly standard build-up here. Notably, our hero dropping a Terraform onto the board. Always love to see that. I feel as though Gravedigger is now out of vogue as of late. That may... I don't think people's respect for it has dropped, but it does feel like I've seen less Terraform than I have. They were down all 3 panic points. That seems like a mistake there, Koro. That seems like not something you want to do. Hey, it's a tractor. Okay, Phantom Attractor is not something we commonly see. Let's see how our hero responds. I imagine it's going to be back all the way up to the wall. Okay. One more turn on the warm-up. Otherwise, this is, like, way too aggressive. Wait. Is bad guy trolling here? Can you not just snipe this attractor? You push. You move. It yoinks to here. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. Ends up here, so you go... Okay, maybe not. Yeah, maybe not. Never mind. Okay. I thought you could get a shove, but there's none of the phobies on the board or anything that could pop out of the vault could reach. So you're not going to get enough damage with just Jin Sting Attractor. Not yet. We do get the classic up here with the block. I don't know if I'd quite call this a heebie-jeebie special. I feel like it's similar. It's related. It's a cousin, but it's not the same. Phantom Cerberus... Funny story there, bad guy. You can't... Yeah, you can't Phantom through the wall there. That's a maxed team versus a maxed team. 11 keys to 16 remaining. Our hero is definitely winning the positioning war. Okay, I'm interested to see how this plays out, because, like, why not put the Klepto on the panic point? Can bad guy, like, kill the statue this turn or something? Because, like, there's no way that the Klepto dies through the statue. I feel like you could have just gotten a free hit there, kind of thing. That seemed pretty safe. Do I have another bug bite? God damn it. Like, I had a slight itch, and then it's like, wait, is that a bug bite? Jesus, it's like, they're everywhere. I was just talking to my wife when I was taking a break, and she's like, how... Because I said I saw some in the house that I was trying to get rid of. She's like, but how come I'm not getting bitten? I'm like, that's because I'm so sweet. She just rolled her eyes at me. Looks like bad guys trying to set up the same thing, but they don't have a lobber here. Wait, what? Ooh, the boop on the creep. The shove on the creep. I need to differentiate. Not a boop, but a shove. Shove on the creep to get the poison going down onto the dimensional that is Phantom. Yeah, I'm like 90% sure I have another bug bite. And I am very unhappy about it. Glob. Okay, so we've talked about this a lot. That Glob is, quote-unquote, an answer to a tractor in general. But I think these comps where it's like trying to... Like this whole setup with Phantom and stuff, Glob seems way better now as a potential counter. I wasn't sold on Glob specifically. I feel like even Alligator is probably better. I'd have to look at the stats, like which has more HP. Or Quagmire, or something like that, because not only are they a mountain of HP, they also represent that additional threat, where Glob is a little bit easier to evade or address. But either way, definitely better in this scenario. Get the shove into the yoink. That's certainly a dead Phantom. I don't think there's any way to kill the Cerberus, but you can threaten it if it decides to come in. Yeah, I think this... I know the notes were like, Shove Shark better than Phantom, but ultimately this came down to mispositioning by bad guy, allowing the Phantom to go down without any activation. I know that seems very obvious, but pointing it out for the sake of stating it. Putting it out in the open. Alright, so Cerberus in a position where Glob actually cannot get to it. And we get the Finnegan counter. Hero with 12 keys. Bad guy with their final reinforcement here. Alright, this Glob is... Alright. Glob's not really earning its keep here. It's a glorified boomer at this stage. Hey, speaking of boss... Speaking of boss... Good boy trying to march in there, but that's ultimately to their demise. I have to imagine, like, how much HP does this have? Still has over 2.4k. Huh. Like, you know that thaws immediately, right? That just gets thawed. Bad guy does have a 4-0 panic point advantage, so there's a world where they can just pummel the heart. Maybe that's what they're thinking, is like the Cerberus ties up things up top. This freeze means that you hypothetically take one of their defenders off the board. Finnegan, since it went to the north. The Finnegan play, this was another mistake from bad guy. If the Finnegan was down here involved, like, yes, you don't have the 4-0 panic point advantage, but you could send the Contortio up there later. Although, like I said, ultimately, well, the Glob, I guess, kills it anyway, so it didn't matter, but, like... Okay. There's a few different questionable plays here at a bad guy. Glob is going to get yet another kill. Get cooked. Dude, I'm just, like, every minor thing I can feel, I'm like, that's a mosquito. It's driving me crazy. I met this hero on Arena Ladder, had a really fun game with them. Nice. something like, at least I thought it was fun. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, the context, the aura around this game suddenly changed a lot there, DT. A comment like that suddenly changes the scope significantly. Bad guy still does have that panic point advantage, but there's still almost 4,000 health on this heart. Like, I don't know. I don't know. Chad, are there any status effects remaining in the game that a phobie cannot be immune to? So, like, we have mechs for disease and poison. We now have Prometheus for fire. We have Doom Doom and Tickles for traps. We have Boomer to dodge displacements. Are there any other effects that there isn't a phobie that can, like, there's no phobie that exists that can ignore them? I don't know why I just thought of that, but debuff? True. It is impossible to dodge a debuff, although I guess you could counteract it. So, kind of. I had a large level advantage? Okay, well that explains it. That could cause some problems. Alright, chat, we got one more for this evening. I'm tired. One more for tonight. My wrist hurts. I have my regular doctor's appointment coming up. I gotta talk to them and find out if I actually have carpal tunnel. Alright, this one's going all the way back to the beginning of the month. Pain is our hero. Paddles, paddles. Sure. I might have to start doing some extra games just to try and whittle down the backlog on here. Because otherwise, there's a risk that... I don't think there's a patch coming. We still have plenty of time before... Like, we typically see it mid to end July, if I recall correctly, is when we get the summer patch. So we have some time before there's likely something that breaks anything. Also, no movement debuff or freeze. Yes. I was thinking for a second, like, does Boomer dodge Rusty? But I don't think that's true. I kind of hope that they, and this is part of what spawned that thought, actually, now that as I'm coming back to it. I hope that they don't introduce, like, a freeze resistance. Like what they have with Prometheus, but have it for freeze, because that seems... It seems not good. It seems like it's not worth it. Not that the phobie would be bad, but just like freeze doesn't need other things working against it. It's difficult. This is like the 5th game tonight with Gesundheit. Why? Also Cyclops. Cyclops was so popular on this map when it first debuted for the Fright Nights and Monster of the Weeks around that time. Bad guy is going to kind of hemorrhage board position, but they do have 2 3 rangers now, including a tractor. Don't see any obvious advance points for our hero. Must be the new meta. I have to try it now. Well, this is back from April 5th, so maybe not the new meta. Maybe the already was meta. Ray Chargel's action. Okay, so Ray's spikes are always weird to me. So, like, look at its tail, right? I'm assuming at the top, like by the back of the head, that's supposed to be a spinal ridge. You know, like, You see that on dinosaurs or whatever, and you can see it on the outspread fins that there are spikes, right? But the way, and if you assume that it's a spinal ridge, it follows to the rest of the back of the tail. You can see that one that's on top where the orange is, where clearly the lighter colored spot, I guess it's kind of white, is the underbelly. Where is that other set of spines attached to? Are they both on the sides of the tail? So it actually goes from like a spinal ridge and splits? Or is Ray Chargel's asymmetric? Or is it 3, where it goes along the outside of the fins all the way down the tail, and then there's a spinal ridge also? Every time I look at Ray Chargel's, this is what I think about. I guess it's meant to be the underbelly, but it's just at a weird angle. Like, I think the lighter part is the underbelly, and then the spikes are just a trick of the perspective. But now that I'm saying it out loud, I think I'm leaning towards there's a spine ridge all the way around the fins, down the tail, like on either side. And then maybe there's a central spinal ridge as well. These are the things I worry about, chat. This keeps me awake at night. Actually, it doesn't keep me awake at night, but it is sometimes what I think about when I lay awake at night and I can't sleep, which may happen tonight, because I've mentioned this before. I have this problem where, like, I'll be so tired, I'll go to sleep, and effectively my body's like, yeah, you can have a 90-minute nap, and then I'm wide awake. I'm like, no, I don't want to be wide awake right now. I need to sleep through the entire night. Why is this happening? But anyway, we get a quick pick here. I don't know that bad guy can really capitalize, so you can advance with the attractor, push up with a bunch of stuff, maybe snipe something, but you're really going to get punished kind of hard here. Stimmed hit. Are we going to snowball? Nope. If you look at it while it's moving, it's not spinal, it's while they're... Okay, wait, we just said when it moved down, we got a better look. Hold on. This is important, chat. This is important. When the ray moves... There we go. There's our answer. But wait, then, like, there are clearly spines on the... Hold on. Okay, so, like, commit this to memory, all right? Take a screenshot if you want. There are clearly, when it's flapping, there are clearly spines on the back of the fins, but they're not there when it's on the, I don't know, maybe it's a perspective thing. There's weird quirks with Phobies sometimes with this sort of thing. Paddles, there it is. I really thought our hero was going to do it. Remember when everybody was trying out Flesh Crawler after the buff? By everybody, I mean, we just saw like 3 or 4 games. It wasn't like a ton. We did see some games of Flesh Crawler. Okay, so there's a Flesh Crawler play here, or there's a attractor play, hypothetically, for bad guy. No, paddles and shove shark. Okay. Look, bad guy, you ain't got much more time. You need to make something happen yesterday. Even if you push now, you might just be dead. Like, you might just die anyway. All right. The shove. Yeah, I was going to say, you might be better off with the tractor. Okay. All right, bad guy. Making some things happen. That was pretty good. Until you consider that our hero is Alien Engineer in disguise. Has 16 keys banked. $16 keys. Pop goes the flesh crawler. Adds an erratic, which I don't hate, but the problem is that there is an oopsie baby already on the board and in position, so the oopsie baby... Wait, really? Okay, maybe our hero is going to go paddles. Ooh, bad guy with the plays. Making a game of this. They were looking like... I just realized there's 34 turns in this game. Like, bad guy looked like they were done for. Absolutely donezo, but making a game of it here. Final phobia is stabby. Our hero does... I mean, the paddles will help, but the team is a little slow to try and get there. Alright, tractor goes down. That's a big asset loss. That's a sucky for God knows what reason. Like, seriously, why is there a sucky? I don't get it. So Finnegan and Ray are clearly going to eat it. It just kind of feels like bad guy doesn't have the damage output at this point. So as long as our hero doesn't completely open their heart to getting burned down. Yeah, then you eliminate the oopsie baby and the game should just end. If you can kill this, that is. You can't tell me that if this wasn't a cassowary, this... Well, maybe. You're not going to get 294 more damage out of a cassowary. But, like, I don't know why sucky. I guess it's tankier for this. Maybe our hero had done the math and knew that it wouldn't get there. But if you take the oopsie baby down, there's just not much damage left on bad guy's team. Like, there aren't that many threats. Admittedly, our hero doesn't have a ton of threats left either. Especially after that. Ugh. Challenge play! This game got scrappy, chat. This game got super scrappy. I really want to see our hero peel off the paddles and just go heart. That would be hysterical. Like, I guess there's a world where bad guy can... Wait, what? I don't know that this was necessary. You still have almost 7,000 health. Just punch the damn things. Yes! 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 It's happening! It's happening! The paddles beat down. One might even call it a paddling. If you were so inclined. Even with the notes saying paddles, I don't think there's any reality where I would have said, oh yeah, our hero 100% kills them by punching the heart with paddles. No, I really wanted paddles to get the kill shot. But it's going to be a panic point one. Maybe paddles is going to get it. How much health is left? Yeah, because you can't claim this panic point. You're probably safer just going back to the heart. Oh my god. I can't believe this is happening. Imagine being bad guy on, like, turn 29 and realizing this is how it's gonna go. Would Paddles have finished him last turn? 800. I can't see how much damage this does. Also, tell me Shove Shark doesn't look like the dogs from Ghostbusters right there. What were those dogs called? They had a name. I think they say it in the movie, but it's been so long. But, like, they look like the dogs from the original Ghostbusters. Nah, not right now, Hordes. We're going to call it a night soon. Tonight's just spreadsheet games. But yeah, imagine being bad guy in this game. Imagine being bad guy. And on like turn 29, you go, I'm going to die to Paddles. I can't stop Paddles. Imagine that thought going through your head. Oh my god, GG. You know what, Hordes? You're a subscriber. We'll do one. Go ahead, spend the points. We'll make an exception for the subscribers. Imagine dying to Boomer, though. I mean, that happens. I feel like that's probably happened a lot, like Boomer just running around capping a point. Boomer indirectly causes a lot of wins. Or could, anyway. Like, I could see a world where that happens. Yeah, we'll make an exception for the subs. We gotta push for that 50 sub goal. Versus Agoraphobia. Alright. No notes for this game. We're getting a bonus one. This one's off spreadsheet. Hordes here, our hero, is a subscriber. Subscriber. Can't get that one out. I'm tired, chat. I'm stuttering and brain shorting out. Subscriber here on the Twitch stream. You can come check that out. Link in the description. Gotta speak slower so I can enunciate, get the words out. Let's see what we've got here. So the Crushmore Pass game plan, that's a new one. That's a new one. Okay, so we saw... Well, we had Karst beat a Phantom. We had somebody else beat a Phantom. Mago, I think. And then we had somebody else submit a game that was supposed to be Phantom related, but it wasn't available. So we're getting Phantom here out of our hero. I have to imagine we're going to see a better set of Phantom plays. I know, shocker, right? I've been spamming Phantom recently, and I had some dominating plays. I could definitely see that. I can 100% see that, because Phantom's pretty good. Phantom's pretty good. Phantom and Shove Shark break fundamental rules of the game, and in any game you want to look for those sort of effects. Admittedly, things like Paddles do also, but Paddles doesn't do it in as impressive or cost-efficient manner. Like, I think Paddles is fine, but Phantom does effectively the same thing for one key cheaper. And notably on small maps, you don't have to, like, take a turn off to bank. And then Phantom is just, the range is just way bigger. So, of course, it's splashier. The other thing about Shove Shark versus Paddles is Paddles does require that you spend an action on the target. And I don't mean from the ability. Oh, we get the smiley. That feels bad if you are bad guy. You immediately regret so many decisions right now. Mostly related to that Octonauty, but also that Firkin's going to be exposed, and, like, your team is not in a position to deal with a Smiley right now. But yeah, as far as paddles goes, it requires that an action be spent, like, the target's actions have to be spent, because even though you're giving it additional movement, you have to move in. Shove Shark bypasses that, because although you don't get as much movement, you could shove them into range and then walk away. You don't have to use up one of the actions just to reposition. Ooh, interesting. The Smiley goes for safety. It wouldn't have been able to get to the Firkin, so that's fine. A lot of times people underestimate how far Phantom can send things because it can move Phobies all around, making its range incredibly large. Absolutely. Absolutely. And not enough people have played against Heartbreaker to really necessarily appreciate what can happen, hypothetically happen. That's a dead Hematic, isn't it? Maybe not, now that they're body blocking. They might still die. Okay, there's some plays to be made. This is definitely a dead Hevo if our hero wants it. You would trade poles, but it is doable. So yeah, this is kind of what I was expecting. You can even get another Crushmore hit on it, right? Alright, I'm not gonna lie. I'm kind of impressed with the amount of things Smiley is connecting with here. I'm kind of impressed with how many things Smiley is connecting with. So here's a question, chat. With respect to Phantom, is it a problem with how linear Phantom can be? And by that I mean, if you have a linear strategy, it's one that can be easily countered, but if you don't have the correct counter, you just lose on the spot, sort of thing. And I think Phantom can create hyperlinear scenarios in that, for example, bad guy, in lieu of Phantom, there's no way that if our hero just deployed Smiley that it would have connected with maybe even anything. It's entirely possible that bad guy would have just plopped a mech on the board, chase it around, and shoot it away. But here, instead, the Phantom was able to just drop it right in their lap. And then from there, continue to cause problems. Bad guy making this heart push happen, maybe. Where are we at? Ooh. That's a little scary. But the thing is that Phantom, it could have been anything. Because when the Phantom's on the board, anything that comes out of the vault can immediately be in the middle of the fight. So if that's true, like, is that part of the problem with it? Or does it not matter? Because I know Karst was talking about resetting cooldowns, but, like, there will be other Smileys in the future. We already got Blue. Now, Blue is not, like... Okay, is that the most impressive thing you can do with Phantom? No, of course. But there will be something else where it's when you end your turn, do something bad to your opponent. It will be more of those effects, right? So, we do have to consider... Like, what I'm trying to get at is, if Phantom's a problem, what exactly about it is the problem? In what scenarios is it fair? In what scenarios is it unfair? I feel like we saw this in an earlier game. Cupcake! There it is. Bad guy getting bodied. High Five does, in fact, clobber the spider, but that's not good enough. In fact, that High Five's gonna die. It might not die now, but it's not impossible. +800 damage attractor is kind of scary. It's cooking everything. Well played, Hordzz. Yeah, Phantom can do some really mean things. Honestly, the smiley play might be one of the more tame ones that can happen. It might be one of the more tame ones that can happen. In this case, it was absolutely brutal, given bad guy's composition, given a number of other factors, but, like... yeah, GG. Not bad. Alright, chap. I think we're going to call it a night. I don't know what we're going to be playing tomorrow. Did do a Cards and Castles stream on Friday. It was a Cards and Castles tournament today. Maybe we'll do more Cards and Castles. I'm not sure. Gotta think about it. There's a bunch of other variety games that I'd like to get on stream, but I gotta see how tomorrow goes. I got a bunch of real life work to do, a whole bunch of videos to edit. I still gotta get Monster of the Week up, and obviously these viewer games, so we'll see how things go. Let me know what you want to see from on the Phobies side of things, content-wise, videos or streams, and even events. Obviously, there's no more Fright Night. I've been brainstorming ideas for a replacement, but I don't know exactly how this is going to work yet. I talked a little bit about it last night. I'm open to feedback for future events. I don't know how to get people in the events. We're kind of back at that problem again. We were doing okay for a while where it seemed like we really did need 3 events to hold all of the people and then Fright Night on top of it. And now it's kind of going in the other direction again where I just don't know if there's enough people to care. And it's like, well, if there's not enough people, then that's fine. We just won't have them. So we'll see. We'll see. If you're interested in submitting games, hit up my Discord. Link for that is, of course, in the description. !Discord on the live stream. Link for that is also in the description. But that's going to do it for tonight. So as always, everybody, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Tune in next time for more Random Thoughts.